What's going on? It's Jose, aka KJ Lane Vision. I'm back with another video, and today I'm starting a new segment on my channel called Tea with Me. As I get older, I'm trying to be a little bit more sophisticated, so I started drinking some tea. So that's what we're going to drink today, and we're going to discuss some topics. Every episode is going to be a new topic, basically answering questions that y'all have asked me that I've kind of answered in somewhat of a way or haven't answered at all. And I'm gonna just spill the tea while I drink some tea. So that's what this is, Tea with Me. As you can see, I got my tea right here. It's the first time I'm trying this tea. Smells good. It's a herbal tea that I got out in Moab when I was just out there. It's supposed to be good for the mind, focus, and concentration. So we're gonna see what it's about. But before I get into that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the content. It really helps me grow, and I would truly appreciate it. And I thank you for whoever does that for me. Now, to talk a little bit about what this is going to be about, basically you ask the questions. So if you got more questions for me, go ahead and drop them in the comment below, and I might make a video about your question. It could be about anything, about the business, how to start a business, about Full Sail, if you want to know more about Full Sail and the honest truth about it. Seeing as how I graduated from there with my bachelor's and getting ready to graduate with my master's in 4 months. It could be about when I was in the music business. It could be about when I was a club promoter. It could be about my military time. It could be about podcasting, which today is actually a question about podcasting. It could be about anything. Just drop it down below. I'll answer the question on one of my episodes. Well, let's go ahead and roll the intro while I get my tea ready. Be right back. Thank you. I'm back. I got my tea ready. It's a nice herbal tea. Nice and hot. And yeah, got it all nice and ready. So today's question that we're going to discuss is a question that I get asked a lot. And I've kind of answered it on another video that I've done before, but I haven't really truly answered it. So here's where I'm going to discuss everything. It's a two-part question. The question is, why did I quit podcasting, and would I do another podcast? So before I get into it, I just want to start with a little disclaimer. Nothing I say in this video is anything against the people who are involved in the podcast I did, which was the Flight 89 podcast or Release Therapy. Dre Rocka, that's my brother. He knows that. Prince, that's my brother. He knows that. Shout out to Waldo, who really helped us with the podcast. I don't got nothing against none of them. I support all of them. So I just wanted to address that early on in this video so that if I say something, y'all don't go run into them and be like, yo, why is Jose saying this? Why is KJ saying this? Blah, blah, blah. Starting some drama, because I know that's the type of people y'all are. Y'all like to start drama. So I wanted to get that out of the way before we start this video. Now let's jump into the video. Basically, to be honest with y'all, I was doing podcasting before podcasting was even a big thing. Prince can vouch for this, man. I did this from my living room where I was doing, mine was more of a live stream podcast where I was reviewing people's music. We was discussing topics. We had people in the conversation, and we were just talking about music, talking about life, talking about anything. I did this from my living room. It was a dope thing. I had people wanting to be involved in it. So I was killing podcasting before podcasting was even podcasting. But doing podcasting and what podcasting is today, the first one I actually did was Release Therapy with Prince, which was super fun. It was a dope podcast, very, very, very unrestricted. We talked about everything on that podcast, but we didn't really have a game plan going in. We just kind of recorded, and eventually it just dwindled away, and that's that. There's been many conversations about that podcast coming back that's never really happened, or revamping that podcast but turning it into something totally new. Again, that's never happened. Who knows? As far as the Flight 89 podcast, hold on, let me get some tea real quick. As far as the Flight 89 podcast, that was something that Dre came to me with an idea. I thought it was a dope idea. Damn, something's going on outside. Anyways, I feel like Dre's podcast with the train, I got freaking police and fire trucks and all types of craziness. But anyways, he came up to me with a dope idea, which was the Flight 89 podcast. So that was his idea. I liked it, and we eventually started doing it from his living room. It eventually got Prince involved, moved to my kitchen, and then, eventually into The Office. And it just grew. It started out extremely fun. And that's the big reason why I stepped away, because it became no longer fun to me. Well, that's not exactly the reason why I stepped away, but that's where me wanting to step away kind of happened. It became no longer fun. And when things has become no longer fun to do, my next question to myself is, why am I doing this? Where's the money at? And that's a question I started to ask myself. And don't get me wrong, the podcast did make a little bit of bread, and we had some sponsors and things like that. But I was interested in the big bag, and to me, the only way that big bag was going to come is if we evolved the podcast. To me, it was getting very stagnant. Is that the word? Where it was just, it was, I don't want to call it boring. It wasn't boring. It was just becoming very, I don't know, stale, stagnant. It just, to me, it wasn't evolving into something bigger. And the only way I could see that happening was to completely change what it was and turn it into something else. And I felt like that wasn't my decision to make, because it wasn't my original idea. And eventually I started feeling like we were all three in it for different reasons, which were conflicting with each other. Don't get me wrong, but to me, Dre was just in it for the fun and for the passion, and there's nothing wrong with that. I was in it for the business, and to turn it into a business, and to turn it into a profitable thing. And Prince was in it for the creative aspect. Prince is super creative. He's an artist, and he wanted to help create something dope, and he was a part of that. And so we're all three in it for totally different reasons, and those three reasons were kind of conflicting with each other, I felt. And I felt like the motto of the main company, which was true to a concept, dedicated to the creator, which was, Lane Vision Media Arts. That concept kind of tore us apart in the aspects of, yes, we wanted to be dedicated to the creator. But Dre was dedicated to the creator, again, because of the passion for it. He has a dope passion for this content creating. Sorry for the plane. Hopefully the sound still comes out good. But he had a dope passion for this, and he still does, and he brings it to life as far as that passion. But sometimes you make decisions based off passion and being dedicated to the creator that I felt was bad for business. And again, I was in it for the business, and Prince was in it for the creative aspect, and he was just trying to help create dope projects all around. And so again, Prince wasn't really in it for the business. He was in it for the creative aspect. Dre was in it for the passion. I was in it for the passion at the beginning, but like I said, it stopped being fun. And so when it stopped being fun, I wanted to turn it into a profitable business. And those three things conflicted with each other, and we needed to be on the same page, and we just weren't. And because of that, I took the time to think about, dang, my personal brand is just being left hanging. Because what y'all don't realize is it took a lot of work to create Flight 89. We were consistent every single week making content. The time to set up, the time to record, the time to edit, the time to make flyers, the time to make thumbnails, the time to promote. It consumed a lot of time from all of us. Not just me, not just Dre, not just Prince, but all of us. And with that being said, I think all of our personal brands kind of got put on hold, and we were so focused on this. And so that's where I started to realize, man, my personal brand is just getting left behind, and I want to go back to working on my personal brand. And that's when I decided, hey, the way things were playing out, I didn't like. And so I felt like, hey, it's time for me to step away and go back to my personal brand. And that's where I decided to walk away from Flight 89. When I walked away, I encouraged Dre to keep the show going because I thought it was best for the fans. But I don't know how it would have turned out. I mean, I feel like we had a big fan base, but I feel like that fan base was based off of each one of ours personal fan base. My fan base, Dre's fan base, Prince fan base, and that fan base all came together to make one big fan base for the Flight 89 podcast, which was dope. And I appreciate all the fans that supported us. We went, I don't even know how long, I think a little bit over a year we did it. And so who knows, maybe it would have fell apart as far as fan base if I stepped away or Prince stepped away, or Dre kept it going, or if I just stepped away and Dre and Prince, I don't know. Or who knows, if they brought new hosts. Maybe Dre made the right decision to go ahead and just end it without ever doing any more episodes without us. The decision he made, I respected it. I understood why he didn't want to continue it, so I totally respect it and the decision he made. And big shout out to Dre, man. What he's doing now, he's killing the game with podcasts and these reaction videos. And this is probably the most creative I've seen him and actually go forward and push out all this content. And I'm not saying I made that. I'm saying that, the decision to end Flight 89 kind of helped all of our personal brands as far as getting back on track. And, Dre's working on his personal brand and just killing the game on YouTube. I'm getting back into it. And it is what it is, That's just kind of how things go. But I support Dre and everything he's done. I continue to help him. I support Prince and everything he's done. I continue to help them. Just things was not on the same page as far as the back end of Flight 89, and I felt like it was time for me to step away, and that's kind of what happened. No hard feelings to any of them, and they know that because we continue to work together all the time. It's just on separate projects that we're not all on the camera together, and that's that. Me and Dre are actually working on some projects right now. Now the next question: would I ever do a podcast again? I don't know, to be honest with you. I would definitely be featured on some podcasts. So if you got some podcasts out there who want to have a guest to discuss some things, reach out. I'll definitely be on some of these podcasts from time to time. Big shout out to all the podcasts that are killing it out here. I'm going to be real with you. In my opinion, I feel like we created the blueprint for half of y'all's podcasts out here. To me, in my opinion, there is very little podcast out here before us. And the ones that were out here weren't doing the podcast like we were. To me, we transformed the game. We changed the game out here. Not going to say everywhere else. But out here in Utah, we changed the game as far as the way podcasts were done. And a lot of y'all, I feel, are using our blueprint, which y'all didn't copy our podcast, but you are using the blueprint that I feel like we developed. And yeah, it's that. So it is what it is. That's how I feel, in my opinion. If you don't agree, I would love to get on your podcast and we could discuss it in a nice, friendly man-to-man, man-to-woman conversation. And have that topic and discuss it and debate it and, walk away shaking hands knowing that at the end of the day, we all creators and we all should support each other. Nothing wrong with the little friendly debate. But as far as me being on the podcast, I don't know. I really don't know. I'd probably do a podcast. I'd probably do a podcast if it didn't have all the bells and whistles with it, meaning like having to do a podcast every week or having to do a podcast every 2 weeks or trying to be on some schedule. Like I would do a podcast out of the fun of it. If we just recorded when we had time, like it's no like set time, it's no set day, it's nothing set. We just we got some time together, let's get together and record something, and we just talk until we're done talking, and who knows when the next episode's coming out. Whenever we got some free time or something to talk about, I'd probably do a podcast then, just because it would be 100% fun, 100%. Nothing. And I just had a conversation with the Young OG podcast because they recorded, and they kind of said the same thing. They liked it back in the old days. Not saying they don't like it now, but that was something they said. They liked it, in the old days where they didn't have to be on a set schedule and have to be, so committed, and the fans, they ask for it. When's the next episode? And you got to please the fans, and sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming, and so you just miss the days where you just did it just to do it and didn't care, and that's kind of what I wanted to go. What I would do if I wanted to get back into it. I would never take it serious, never try to turn it into a money grab, never try to get any sponsors, nothing. Just talk and let's have a good time, and that's it. And maybe I would do it. I don't know. Stitcher reached out to me about a couple months ago with the deal for me to create a new podcast by myself, and I ended up turning that deal down. So I don't even listen to podcasts no more. I don't even know when the last time I listened to podcasts. I hate podcasts. Sorry for all those people who I used to support with podcasts. I don't listen to podcasts no more. Like I don't listen to nobody's podcast. From time to time I might skim through, like I skim through Dre's from time to time. But I haven't listened to a whole podcast from him. I don't listen to nothing. I don't listen to Joe Budden. I don't listen to none of the podcasts I used to listen to. I even deleted the podcast app from my phone. So yeah, I don't deal with anything besides recording podcasts at my studio that we have. And I don't know. I just don't really like podcasts anymore. So I don't know. I probably, that's why it's hard for me to say if I would or not. Because it's just, it's not something I'm interested in. But hopefully that answers the question that y'all been asking me about the podcast, what happened to Flight 89, and anything like that. Just want to spill the tea, be completely honest. So have some tea with me. If you drink tea, make sure you get your tea ready for the next episode so you can sip some tea with me. Other than that, that's the episode. Drop your questions down below. Before we get out of here, again, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. At least subscribe and at least like the video. I'm not asking you like a lot of other people out here to buy something or to spend some money or anything. All I'm asking you is to take a little bit of time out of your day when you need a break to hit on YouTube, check out the video, and like and subscribe. It doesn't take much to do that. So I support you. Support me. If you need anything from me in return, just let me know. I'm always support my supporters when I can. So let me know, and I'm out of here. See you next time with Tea with Me.